Hi guys, my name's Alana and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I post mental health videos and vlogs and sometimes beauty and lifestyle videos. Please press that red subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up if you like this type of content and you want me to do other videos. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about different medications that I've been on for my bipolar disorder. And just like some of the side effects I experienced and what I found helpful. This is obviously subjective because everyone is going to have a different experience with medication, and what works for me may not work for you, but I find these videos really helpful when I'm thinking about starting a medication. So yeah, I already have a video talking about my experience with lithium for bipolar disorder. I am going to quickly go over it again, and I do have a video talking about epilim, but I just wanted to do like a video that's in chronological order and just with some added information, and just with like my review kind of as a whole. So I have bipolar 2 disorder, although I have more recently within the last year started to experience what I would call more mania than hypomania. So yeah, I have had experience with quite a few medications. So the first medication that I was ever put on was lithium. This was when I was diagnosed in 2019, at the end of the year with bipolar 2, and I was about 19 at the end of the year, and I was put on lithium. I got to pick between lithium and sodium valproate, and I decided to go with lithium just because I'd heard a lot of really good stuff about lithium, and I was on lithium for probably about 6 months, and lithium for me, even though it's considered like the gold standard drug, I actually found that I was still having episodes while I was on lithium. But this is also made complicated because I have borderline personality disorder, but it wasn't really like officially diagnosed at that point. So I was actually living with, I actually live with BPD on top of bipolar, so it's kind of hard to say whether or not maybe the symptoms I was having were just coming from the BPD aspect or whether I was having continuous kind of bipolar episodes. But anyway, I was put on lithium and I didn't experience any bad side effects apart from my hands got quite shaky, and I found I was constantly thirsty. This is the biggest thing, is that I could drink and drink and drink so much water and I was continuously thirsty. Obviously lithium, if you don't know, is a salt. Obviously it's on the periodic table, and it works as a mood stabilizer, so to, stabilize your mood so you're not going from mania or hypomania into depression, and you're not kind of like cycling all the time, or having episodes, because your mood is very up and down, obviously with bipolar. So lithium as a drug didn't really work that well for me mentally, so I didn't really find that it was reducing my episodes or my symptoms. And then the physical side effects, like I said, the extreme thirst, and this was not something I could just kind of put up with, to be honest. It was getting quite bad, and my medication got increased because I was still having episodes, and the problem with this was that after it was increased, we ended up finding out that it was actually too high. So when you get put on lithium, it has a range. It's called a therapeutic range, and you need to sit at a certain number, and if you go lower, it's not going to be doing anything for your mood, and if you go too high over that certain threshold, you can get things like hypothyroidism, because it affects your thyroid and your liver. Your liver processes all the medications and things in your body. So it ended up being that I was actually at emergency one time for something unrelated. It wasn't BPD, it wasn't bipolar, it was for BPD kind of episode, and they did a blood test and they realized that, oh, while you're here, your lithium levels are actually too high, which can become toxic in your body. It wasn't ridiculously high, but it was still high enough to the point where my blood test results are coming back saying that, you know, they needed to be lower. So at this point in time, I decided I'd been on the medication for about 6 months, so I had given it a good try, and we had changed the dosages. I was still having a lot of mood issues and instability. So I decided, when I saw my psychiatrist, we decided to change and to come off lithium. I did this while I was in hospital because I was really struggling at the time with my mental health, so I ended up needing to go into hospital anyway, and so my psychiatrist thought it would be a good idea to just get me off it while I was in hospital and I could start something different. So I ended up starting Epilim, which is sodium valproate, that's another name for it, or Depakote, and it is classed as an anti-epileptic drug, but they also use it as a mood stabilizer for bipolar, for schizophrenia, and I'm still on Epilim, and Epilim has been the most amazing medication for me in terms of I don't get any physical symptoms or side effects from it, and mentally it has helped me a lot in regards to bipolar, and also even with my other mental health diagnoses that co-occur, like BPD. This medication, like I said, it's used as a mood stabilizer, and yeah, I didn't experience any side effects. Some side effects you can experience are things like nail and bed disorders. It can affect your hair and your skin, so you can start to lose hair, which I actually thought was happening to me, but, and I did mention this in my other video all about sodium valproate, and I said that I was thinking of coming off it because I felt like it was giving me a lot of hair loss. I don't actually think that is the case anymore. I think I was experiencing that because of some other things that I ended up kind of being able to like fix to an extent, so I don't think it was actually the medication, but it can cause hair loss. And I only say this because I know when I was doing research about sodium valproate, because I thought I was having hair loss, a lot of people had said that they had noticed significant changes, but yeah, that can be an issue. But apart from that, I haven't really had any physical side effects. I actually forget what the side effects even are because I don't experience anything, which is good, and my body does tolerate medications quite well though. But yeah, it's used as a mood stabilizer, even though it is also an anti-epileptic drug. They don't really know why these medications, like exactly how it works or why it seems to work, but obviously it's interacting with chemicals in the brain, but for whatever reason it has worked extremely well for me. And like I said, mentally, like I don't have episodes very frequently anymore, and I actually think it's helped with my BPD to an extent. I think it has helped a lot with impulsivity, like impulse control. Personally, that's something I've noticed. I feel like it really definitely helped with that. So I'm still on sodium valproate. I've been on it for probably over 2 years, and I take 900 milligrams. I think I was previously taking 900 milligrams of lithium when I was on lithium, and then so I came off that, and now I've been on sodium valproate, and I take 400 milligrams in the morning and 500 at night. And yeah, it's worked really well for me. I have no complaints. I love this medication because it's honestly helped me so much in regards to my bipolar disorder, and I've never been so stable, and yeah, I find it really good. Now, the other medication I want to mention in this video is a antipsychotic called olanzapine, and then I want to also talk about Quetiapine. So these are the most kind of, what's the word, they're not like the old generation antipsychotics, they're the new ones. So these medications are antipsychotics. They are also used commonly as mood stabilizers, so you can use them on its own as a mood stabilizer, or you can use them for other disorders, you know, with a combination of other medications. So I'm on a number of different medications. I'm not going to talk about them all in this video because it'll take too long, but yeah, so I take Quetiapine as well. I have been on Quetiapine for a very long time, probably over 2 years. The dose always changes, so I'm not going to bother talking about the dose because it literally changes like every few months. We're either putting it up or down, just depending on what is going on. But for in terms of bipolar, I found Quetiapine is a medication that I kind of love and hate, to be honest, because it does make me feel quite tired. Once it starts getting to that 100 milligram mark for me, I start to feel a bit dissociated and foggy and just tired, and I have a hard time waking up in the morning. I'm on the slow release. You can also get like a short release tablet, which I have taken before, but I used to take this one as a PRN, but that wasn't really that often. Generally, I take more of a solid dose of Quetiapine every day, but yeah, I have kind of love and hate relationship with this medication just because it can cause things like hand tremors and other kind of neurological side effects later on. And when I have tried to lower my dose of Quetiapine and come off it, something I have noticed is that I get really bad shakes, and like anxiety gets really bad when I come off it. So I kind of notice a bit of like almost a withdrawal, whereas with the other medications, I didn't experience that when I stopped taking it. But yeah, for me, Quetiapine is something that I unfortunately kind of just have to take because the reason for it is with my bipolar, if I don't take the Quetiapine, or when I have been on really low dosages, if I do have a manic episode, I start to experience a lot of hallucinations and psychotic thoughts and just a lot of mania type symptoms that are quite distressing and uncontrollable, and will get worse and worse if I'm not put on more Quetiapine, like if my Quetiapine dose isn't increased. So I have tried to come off Quetiapine, and I was down to I think 25 milligrams not too long ago, and then unfortunately I had quite a longer kind of manic episode recently, like a few months ago. I think it was at the beginning of the year. I have some videos on this channel probably when I'm manic, and if you watch them back you can probably tell I'm manic. I don't know if I mentioned it in the videos, but I was definitely very manic, and I get a lot of paranoia and just hallucinations and visual and auditory stuff like that, and it's just really not a good time. So that is why I take the Quetiapine mainly. The other reason I take it is for anxiety, because I have numerous anxiety disorders. It also does help with things like BPD, like it helps with impulse control, it helps with your mood, it can be used as a mood stabilizer. I'm really on 100 milligrams, so it's not really used as a mood stabilizer for me because my main mood stabilizer is Epilim. But the Quetiapine for me is kind of to take the edge off a lot of the other symptoms and to really manage the mania if it starts getting intense. And then generally the dose will be increased for that. And I have taken it as PRN as well, like taken extra, but now I've been given a benzodiazepine instead as a PRN, so I've been given I think it's Valium instead, so I don't really take Quetiapine too much as a PRN, but I do have it there. So yeah, Quetiapine though, like other other antipsychotics, can be used though on its own for bipolar as a mood stabilizer. But a lot of people, including myself, don't particularly like that option because you do feel really tired. It just kind of knocks you out. Specifically Quetiapine, I've heard that other mood antipsychotics seem to kind of work a lot better when it comes to like feeling tired and drowsy, but unfortunately it does have a bit of a sedating effect. But yeah, I've also been on olanzapine only shortly, and that was also an antipsychotic, and I was given that when I presented to emergency in a state of kind of mania, which is when I got diagnosed with bipolar. So I was given that. But I had a friend who used to take I think she was on olanzapine and for bipolar, and it worked really well for her, and I don't think she really got any bad side effects from it. So it just proves that like what works for one person really won't necessarily work for everyone. But for the short time I was on olanzapine, it did work in the fact that it did actually it got rid of the mania like within a few days, because I was experiencing kind of mania at the time. It did work, but again, that medication did make me feel quite tired. I have also had the option in the past to go on another one. I can't think of the name right now, but it can give you Abilify. But the reason why I never ended up trying that one instead of Quetiapine was because I was really scared about getting the rash that can come with it, because that rash can be quite severe and quite bad. And I don't know what it is. I'm just like terrified of that happening to me. So I just have to stick with the Quetiapine. Quetiapine is a medication I just don't like taking, for the reasons I mentioned, and also because there has been speculation about it causing other problems. I don't know, like I've had high prolactin levels, which could also be coming from the Quetiapine. So unfortunately, it's just not something that I can just not take, because when I do stop taking it, I always end up mentally quite unwell, and my mental health just goes downhill very quickly, and people around me and my treatment team all know that it just I don't know, I just need that medication. It just, when I'm not on it, it just doesn't, quality of life is not very good. So I put up with the few symptoms that I have because it does work for me, and it's just something I need, and I've had to accept that. But yeah, if you do have bipolar, know that there are so many options in regards to medication. I'm no doctor, obviously I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm just talking about my own personal experience. But yeah, these are the medications that I've used for mania. In terms of the depressive episode and those type of symptoms, the only antidepressant that I can actually be on so far that I've tried is venlafaxine, which I'm on now, and mirtazapine. Every other antidepressant I've tried has caused mania, which is something that can happen when you have bipolar, and the medications never did anything really in terms of my depression. It just made me manic. Venlafaxine, for some reason, it's a SNRI, so it's actually not SSRI, it's called an SNRI, I think, serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. So basically it actually works on two different hormones in the brain, chemicals, instead of just the serotonin. This medication has worked really, really well for my anxiety. I love venlafaxine because it has really changed my life. If you want a video just on venlafaxine, I can make one. But I've started taking it when I had a depressive episode with bipolar, and we thought, okay, so the other ones haven't worked, maybe we should try this. That was when I first started seeing my new psychiatrist. And I've been on venlafaxine now for about like 6 months, I think, and it has really, really helped me. And I haven't experienced any mania or manic symptoms with it. Like, it didn't induce it. But it has worked really well with the depression aspect of bipolar. So when I do get depressed now, it is nowhere near as severe as what it used to get to. And I think that's just because of the venlafaxine. The mirtazapine I'm not going to go into because it's actually extremely low dose, and it's not for my bipolar, it is for other things. So yeah, but that is the other medication. For me, the main goal was to kind of reduce the heightened manic symptoms, because obviously you really can't live a functional life if you're psychotic, paranoid, getting delusions and hallucinations and stuff, and for me the hallucinations are always very kind of like persecutory, I can't say the word, but like they're just very, like, you just can't live with them, and every time I have episodes they just seem to get worse, unfortunately. So for me, these medications have been really important. But yeah, I hope that this was helpful. If you want any other questions answered, just comment it down below. But like I said, I'm obviously not a doctor. This is literally just coming from my experience on these medications. So I hope this helped you, and comment if you've had any experiences with these medications, because I really like to hear other people's stories and connect over that. So yeah, if you have any other video suggestions, leave them down below. Check out my TikTok and all my Instagrams, and I also have a business which is called Care Boxes by Alana, and it is something new I'm working on. So if you want to go follow that Instagram page, I'm going to be launching products extremely soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.